back.
How are you? How'd you sleep last night?
Very good, considering that you are wearing the
Yeah.
same clothing, but you don't even look wrinkled.
You know what? I stayed up late and I just kept it an all-nighter.
You look really fresh.
Yeah.
I'm with John P. Roberts. We're still at the Banff World Media Festival.
Yes, we are.
Is this your first time at Banff?
No, this is my second time. I came 2 years ago and was just blown away by the beauty, and then the caliber of people that were here. It was really amazing. Great meetings, great people, and went away with a lot of new colleagues. So I really enjoyed that.
This is my actually third time here. The first time I came here was in 2008. I did my fall TV preview, which is something I do every year, and then I came back 2 years later. I haven't been here in 5 years.
Well, just in 2 years. I mean, I remember the first time I was like, I found myself kind of like, this isn't my, well, as a friend of mine said, it's not, our posse wasn't here. Like there wasn't the digital gang. And now I'm finding walking around, seeing like, oh, hey there. It's like, I feel like these two worlds are coming together very nicely.
They are. But nice. Let's talk about digital. But I just kind of talk about, delve into something else for a second, which is kind of relates to digital. It's interesting, a show like Aquarius on NBC, David Duchovny. NBC ordered 13 episodes. They're running it this summer, and what they decided to do, which I think is both a good and a potentially bad idea, is they're running the episodes. They're available online, so you can binge watch all of them. And that's kind of becoming a new concept. The networks are now trying to do that with their shows. These digital shows that you have that you're watching, when you do one of these, what's the formula in terms of, do you order a certain number of episodes? Do you just film? Do you just, how do you do that? How does that work?
Yes. I mean, it is all the above.
So you will order a specific, you'll say we're going to order 13.
So I'll give you some examples. So there's one distribution company that'll literally say, our pilot will be 4 episodes. Okay. So let's do 4, which is not, in the world we live in, it's like that's the cost of a presentation something that a network would do. So these 4 episodes will be their pilot, and if that works, then they'll order more. Right. Then there's times where someone will, from the get-go, order 13 because there's still cost efficiencies in doing that. Yes. And it really depends. And then sometimes there is just the pilot. There is something like, let's just do a couple or one and see if it, makes any noise, and then we'll take it from there. So it's very fluid and flexible. And it's planned. Yes. It's not ultimately we're doing this digital series and we'll see how many we'll do. Just sit here and talk, and we could splice it into 4 episodes. So everything's very planned. Yeah, it's very, very planned. In fact, I did a thing with Blizzard Entertainment once. It was the World of Warcraft. And we had it very specific. It was going to be about it was Adler's Chopper. And it's like, remember Paul Jr. from American Chopper? Sure. So the idea was that we were going to create these over-the-top choppers that would be worthy of being in World of Warcraft. And what we did, we had two different teams building these choppers. And in the end, they got revealed. We told the whole story throughout. And the winning chopper, which was voted by the audience, was digitized and put in the game World of Warcraft. Oh, so there was this full 360 aspect to it that had and it was all influenced by the audience. And the first episode had 1.5 million views, and it was just an engaged audience. And we planned the idea that this was going to be an arc. Now it was still like a reality show in the sense that you never know what's going to happen. I mean, you have to be ready for that. And it was a really fun project. Well, I also think it's a dangerous game to play because a lot of these wannabe stars that do these, YouTube videos. I was recently watching 2020, and somebody did something that cost him his job. So I guess people have to be very careful. You have to be. You got to be very aware. It's something we talk about. We mentioned NBC versus this versus that. What I'm finding is I did the keynote at the Copenhagen Television Festival last summer. And one of the questions that someone asked me was, is television dead? And I love that question. Because I said, well, let me ask you a question. Define television. I said, to me, this is as much of a television as the big screen on my wall. Right. I'd rather watch the big screen on my wall, but if this is what I have on the plane, this is what I'll watch. And it really comes down to this. The question is content dead? And it's alive and well. And if I was a storyteller, which I am, this is the time to be in this business because you have so many alternative distribution plays on how to get that story out there. And we talk about binge viewing. What I love is that the demographic of those that binge are much different than those that watch broadcast or cable television. So I don't feel like you're losing one audience over the other. I think that those that binge are people that may or may not even have time to watch TV in the regular way that others do. It's an interesting concept because, my feeling about binge watching, I've binge watched. Yeah. I've done it.
My preference, just speaking as somebody who's a little older, I like to watch a show one week, the next week, the next week, the next week, because I want to spread it out. You can't always do that. Sometimes, you know, and the show that I binge watched recently on Showtime, The Affair. Mm-hmm. I watched the pilot. I said, damn, this is good. The season already ended. And I ended up watching all the episodes within a weekend. So that I binge watched. But when you do these digital shows, which is the next question, the target demographic, obviously, are very young people. You're going to get a very young audience. You're not going to get, traditionally, you're not going to get somebody over 55 that's going to be watching, and not that they wouldn't, but that's not the audience you're going after, correct?
It depends, and I'm watching it change a lot, but you're right. Right now, when you look at the very specific, like if you look at the YouTube audience, it is a younger demographic. There's no question.
Sure.
And that is one bucket. So YouTube Originals, that is one area that everybody should have a YouTube strategy.
Yes.
Then you look at someone like Crackle. Crackle is more aimed at male demographic, maybe 25 to 39, maybe older.
Mm-hmm, sure.
You know, Yahoo picking up Community. Mm-hmm. That's not necessarily a young person's. You know, that's not young. So I really think it's like, where is the distribution going? Mm-hmm. And that's what we try to look at. One of the things that we do at Bunim/Murray, my small team, we actually do what we call our road show and just ask, what are you looking for? What are you trying to accomplish in 2015 and 2016? Mm-hmm. And we'll come back later on and pitch you appropriately with what your initiatives are.
Right.
Instead of just showing them, here's our slate, you know, this is not going to put a square peg in a round hole. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what, you know, people today, especially, you know, producers and storytellers need to think about is, you know, who is your audience, which is, you know, your distribution, who is my, you know, how am I going to maintain that customer? What do I need to do to please them? Mm-hmm. And it's finding that right thing that's the right match.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting concept because, again, you know, logically, when I think back when ABC canceled All My Children and One Life to Live,
right,
and of all my years writing for a living, and it's a lot, many years, I had never seen such hysteria over fans losing their shows. And then they both returned. Mm-hmm. On a digital form. They were online, but yet they didn't survive because that target audience, which are older women,
didn't go.
I guess they weren't going there.
But I think they may go there as they're getting, as things are shifting and changing. Like a smart television enables you to have over the top. You know, we talk about cord cutters. I get worried about the cord nevers. But, you know, the cord nevers are the ones that now are looking at going to Best Buy and buying a digital antenna that allows them to get all the broadcast channels. Mm-hmm. And just like the cable world in the 80s, you're starting to see new networks launching on antenna only. And that's like a whole nother movement I'm seeing. So that younger demographic that may or may never pay for cable or satellite, they're going to get live content through these antennas and different ways of doing it.
But you know what's going to be very interesting about that? Let's assume that you and I are going to be back in Banff. And you and I are going to be here in 10 years, and we're going to be sitting here and having another conversation. And we're going to be here in 20 years. We're going to be sitting here and having another conversation. These young people that are so invested in this are suddenly going to be in their 40s, 50s.
But I think that then the model, and I believe the model at that point will have gone on its head and changed, and there'll be new technologies and new initiatives for this younger thing. So I think that it's adapt. I mean, the best example would be when people got nervous about, you know, VHS. Oh my God, look what's happening. But that was a big thing about people saying they're not going to go to the movies anymore, you know? And then all of a sudden, DVDs, oh my God, now it's like, I mean, I'm part of the Television Academy and the PGA. I used to get the stacks of VHS tapes that would come in. Now I get a piece of paper with the codes. I can stream it through there. So it's like, it's a different
amazing
world.
You know, can I ask a favor? Where we only can go up to 10 minutes, and we're getting to the next 10. Can we do another 10?
I'd love to.
You stay. So here we're going to leave part 2. We're going to have a part 3.
Okay, so we're going
to go to part 3.
All right.
So. And then we'll say goodbye, but I really want to continue because I do want to tell you something. So thank you for joining us for part 2.
Yes.
And we're going to be back for part 3.
We're going to the after party.
We're going to the after party. We're going to come right back looking exactly the same.
Exactly.
Okay? We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.